Hey there guys, welcome to the channel. As you know, it's a new year, so I have a new patrol rifle, so we have a new video. So this is the current patrol rifle that I'm issued by my department. Therefore, most of it's going to be stock. It's not going to be as tweaked as I'd like it to be on my personal guns, but I have to work with what I got. So let's just kind of start off from the front to the back here. Now from the intro, you probably noticed that I did not have a forward grip on there. That's fine. That was just added a couple of days ago because of ergonomics. So starting from the front to the back here, we got a regular, just A2 style flash hider, nothing too crazy there. This is a 16.1 inch barrel with a mid-length gas system. Pretty big fan of the mid-length gas system. Been a proponent of it for a long time. I'm glad this rifle came with one, or carbine I should say. And pretty happy with that. This one did come issued with a M-LOK rail system. Also, huge fan of that. Really glad they decided to go with M-LOK over, say, key mod or just straight quad rail. Though I know some people are still really big proponents of the quad rail. It just isn't for me. It did come with these flip-up iron sights, which are kind of like A2 style front sight, and a regular AR rear sight. Nothing too crazy there. Like I said, this carbine came stock because that is the way my department got it. The only thing I was really able to change were the accessories. Speaking of those accessories, we have a ProTac HLX rail mount here. It's their 1000 lumen model. It is not the USB model. It is not rechargeable. It's one thing I'd like to change in the near future, or switch to a Surefire maybe. I don't know. We'll just have to see. It did come with the pressure pad here, which I have mounted at the top here, which I can access pretty easily. And then, of course, I have some rail covers here. These are M-LOK rail covers by Strike Industries. They were on sale. They work just fine. I like the BCM ones as well, but I have these on hand, and they get the job done. Down here, we have a short vertical grip by BCM. Actually, all the furniture on this gun is going to be BCM. I did not change out the stock or the grip here. They came from the manufacturer like this. It came with the BCM gunfighter stock and the BCM grip. Big fan of both, honestly. No issues there for me. Moving along, for the optic, I have the Vortex UH1 AMG holographic sight. This is the Generation 2. I'm going to be doing a separate video on this later on. Really big fan of this optic. Really big proponent for holographics in general. One thing I would like to, well, two things actually I'd like to change, three if I'm being picky, is number one, not a big fan of the charging handle. It's a stock charging handle. It works, it gets the job done. I just like ambidextrous ones. And following along those same lines, I like to have an ambidextrous safety. This one's kind of a stock safety. Nothing wrong with that. But I do like to have an ambidextrous safety. It's easier for me to, just with my shooting style, it's easier for me to disengage and re-engage the safety with an ambidextrous. The third thing I'd change, just because I'm picky, is the trigger. The trigger leaves a lot to be desired. It's not bad. It's not the worst trigger I've ever come across. It's definitely not the best trigger I've ever come across. What are you going to do? But it works. As far as the internals, it's an AR. There's basically not a lot going on there. It's got a lot of phosphated parts, which I'm not a big fan of. I kind of wish they would have switched to nitride, but it was in the mil specs to have phosphated parts. It works. You just got to keep it oiled up just like every other gun. Not that big a deal. It has an H buffer, so it's got a little bit heavier buffer in there for a carbine. Doesn't really make much of a difference in my opinion. This whole system with the mid-length gas system, the 16-inch barrel, you know, and the way it's tuned, it's not really tuned per se, but it doesn't have a lot of recoil. It's a 5.56, let's face it. It's not that big a deal. The sling here is a Viking Tactics, a VTAC, just 2-point gunfighter sling basically. The way I have it mounted here is for vehicle operations. It stays kind of up and out of the way. I can actually still actuate the controls with the sling still in place. It just lays across the top here, wraps around it, and then if I need to, I can pull this little tab here, and the whole thing comes off, and boom, I have the sling. Now, as far as performance, accuracy-wise, not too bad. Not too bad. About what I'd expect from, well, just about every AR now. Really nothing special. As you can tell, I'm not too excited about this gun. I'm not really a big fan of Springfield. I kind of associate them with lower to mid-grade firearms. They haven't really come out with anything that's really wowed me in a while. I haven't gotten my hands on the Hellcat yet. But really, it just seems like another subcompact. Nothing really special. So, whenever they announced that they were making ARs, I honestly didn't really care too much because everybody's making ARs now. They didn't bring anything new to the table that another manufacturer doesn't. As far as a patrol rifle, I understand why my agency decided to go, and I understand why many agencies decide to go with a commercial off-the-shelf option. This has a warranty. It has a service department behind it. It is backed by a manufacturer with a big name. You know, and that's all great for liability, maintenance, and resupply. That's great. That's the whole reason you go with that option. Personally, I wish they would have gone with Sons of Liberty Gunworks. They have some great options for law enforcement officers to individually purchase firearms, as well as agencies, and they also even have a program that if your firearm is ever used and has to be taken into evidence, or you're without your firearm for any reason due to loss, theft, destruction, or evidence, they will send you a replacement carbine to use until either yours can be replaced or is returned to you. Springfield does not offer that. And I feel like you could have gotten a much higher quality firearm for around the same price. I don't have the price list in front of me, but I do believe that they purchase these carbines for about $800 a piece. If that's true, I feel like they may have overpaid. It's an adequate carbine. It is. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing it as hard as I could. It's an adequate carbine. It has been reliable. It has been functional. There's just a few little things that I felt could have been different. I feel like the rail is a little bit too heavy for what it is. The barrel profile is just fine. As far as I can tell, it's a SOCOM cut with a mid-length gas system, like I said. One thing I do like, the gas block is pinned. That's an excellent choice on their part. You don't want that coming loose for any reason. The castle nut is not staked. That is something I'd like to see on a duty use weapon. Now, of course, it's something I can do to myself, but I don't want to modify this too much and get an ass chewing for damaging department issued firearm. Another thing that I would change is, like I said, the trigger. I would splurge and get a Geisley or a LaRue M2B, I believe it's called, or the MBT, one of those, I can't remember. But I would get a better trigger in there. This trigger, like I said, is adequate, but it's not heavy. It's probably at 5.5 pounds, but it's not what it could be. Granted, I've only had probably about 500 rounds through this gun, so I haven't really shot it a whole lot, but it's definitely still going through a break-in phase, I can tell. And once it's broken in probably pretty well, and I do a couple of dry fire sessions, by a couple I mean a couple hundred, I'm sure the trigger will definitely smoothen out a bit, and I'm sure I can get that cleaned up real nice. But it is what it is. It's a functional duty carbine, and it does its job. It doesn't bitch like I do, and it puts in work. I would personally put some better iron sights on it, and I may do that. That's not a mechanical change to the gun. I consider that a cosmetic change, but I believe it's a necessary one. These sights are okay, but look how much wobble. How much wobble there is in that. I'm not a big fan. I may see if he'll let me, or if my armor will let me change out the charging handle. I'm not a big fan of those. But I understand keeping everything the same. Everything else seems to be mil-spec on this thing. It seems to meet the qualifications of a functional carbine, but there's not a lot to really praise about it either. Nothing wrong, nothing to praise about. It's in the middle, which I guess for a standard issue firearm, there's not really much else you can ask for. But anyway, guys, let me know what your favorite carbine down below is, and if your agency issues you a patrol rifle, let me know what it is down below. I know some of you guys got some pretty Gucci shit out there, unlike me. I mean, I do have some Gucci stuff, but I'm not allowed to carry it for work. But if your work lets you carry it, whether it be your own or an issued firearm, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below, and tell me what you got. So anyway, guys, really appreciate you joining me in today's video. If you would, please leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Check out our affiliate links down below for some of this gear if you want to check it out yourself. And yeah, I guess I'll catch you in the next one.